How many mountains to get some confidence? How many debates to earn some tailwind? The years pass, I'm still the same. What will it take? Why the wait? Up and down, I'm losing ground. Pretender, tell me what to believe. I ain't got a sweet tooth for lying. Spender, show me how to succeed. My wallet is spreading thin. Oh, ooh, ooh, what to do? I am me and not you. Ooh, ooh, what to say? Please make the strain go away. Pretender.
No.
How many right turns to reach some kind of goal? How many dressing up for me to play some ball?
Hello and welcome to the channel. Welcome here in Umoja. My name is Dennis Uhuru and another week has gone, guys. How you guys been doing? I hope you and yours have been doing well. It's been an interesting week on my side, and I'm going to tell you all about it. Right now, I'm ready to buy something to chew, something for breakfast. You guys notice that I purchased a mosquito net. You know, if I close my eyes, I can almost see the look of disbelief and wonderment on the faces of the mosquitoes that have been chewing me for the past 3 or 4 months. According to them, I think they believed that they would just be chewing me for the rest of their lives. No, you can't do that. I know they were so shocked. You know, I bought that net about 2 or 3 days ago. I'm sure the mosquitoes came back and they were like, they could not believe it. But you know, I've been hearing a lot of things. I've been hearing about some fake mosquitoes, you know, GMO mosquitoes that have been released in Nairobi and in other areas of Kenya. I'm not sure if they've been released in Nairobi yet, but they've certainly been released in Kenya. And I'm just like, no man, you know, I have no problem with mosquitoes that were created by God biting me, but these fake mosquitoes created in a lab, no man. And what manner of thinking possesses a man to believe that he can create better mosquitoes than God? The hubris. You know, I told you guys some time ago, I told you guys that when men solve all their problems, they start inventing new problems for themselves to solve. And I have no problem with a man inventing problems for himself to solve because he's solved most of his problems. But when those new problems he's inventing start affecting me, that's when I have a problem. All these fake mosquitoes being released to bite me and mine and to bite all the freedom fighters. No, it's not right. Bibi bro, wakia mimi maziwa bana, uko vipi? Hata mimi niko vipi? Uko vipi ndugu? Kabisa. Somewhere by a gated star. Baby, they ain't never gonna find me. Yeah, so guys, I'm back from getting breakfast. But apart from the mosquito saga, it's been an interesting week. A lot of nice things have happened, and I'm going to talk to you about that. Specifically, I've been able to put together a new workstation. Yeah, so we have a new desk and a new laptop, which is a video editing laptop, and that is something that you guys know we've been looking for a very long time. We finally got our hands on it. So let me go back to the house, you know, prepare a bit of breakfast, and then we will talk some more.
I've been here before, familiar with the view. This ain't nothing new. And every time that you walk through the door, I'm hit by the same old tide, blinded by the lights. And I'm going through changes, but it's easier with you. I'm going through changes.
Oh my goodness, this is the new setup, eh? How is it looking? How is it looking? Before all that, welcome to breakfast. I've got some nduma, eh? As well as some cassava. So let me chew this, eh? I know that some of you are hearing about this GMO mosquito debacle for the first time, and you're wondering what is the rationale. The rationale is that these new mosquitoes will help fight malaria. But you see, a lab is a controlled environment. When you're conducting experiments in the lab with the mosquitoes and you're genetically modifying them, that is a controlled environment. When you release them into the wild, you cannot control that environment. You cannot predict what is going to happen. You cannot simulate that the same thing that happened in the lab is going to happen when the mosquitoes are released out into the wild. And nothing good ever comes from interfering with the natural order of things. And that's how it starts also. Let us genetically modify mosquitoes so that they can help deal with malaria. And then very soon, let us genetically modify dogs so that they can grow manes like lions. And then after that, let us genetically modify lions so that they can start eating grass and so that we can keep them as pets. Where does it end? Where does it end? I hope that our leaders in government, they're able to query these things before, just giving in and just letting, anyway, God will help us. God will help us with some of these things that we do not have power to deal with. So I just want to chew this breakfast. Chew it, and then talk to you.
When I saw you, I would lose control. Made me feel like there was no tomorrow. Should've told you that you're beautiful, but the days pass and now it's so long ago.
Guys, so that's breakfast done. So after breakfast, I was just sat here taking stock. I realized that we've done 6 months already. So the year is halfway done. Time is moving by so fast. And I just thought I'd take stock of everything that has happened this year. So much has happened that it is very important to take stock. This is just to encourage somebody, man, that sometimes when you're going through difficulty, that's when also some blessings are made manifest. So, 2025. Number one, the first thing that happened when the year began is I won a court case, which is not a simple thing to do. In the final analysis, I find that the claimant has not proved its case against the respondent, on a balance of probability, and the suit is dismissed. The second thing that happened is I became a tour guide for a bit. I had this fellow called Tobe from originally from Nigeria, but who lives in the US, and he came and contracted me to take him around Nairobi, and we did a number of interesting stuff. The highlight of which was bike riding in Karura Forest.
Tell me all your dreams align. Sign me up and tell me about the people that you know who are trying to feel alive.
So I went bike riding in Karura Forest for the very first time, and then we went quad biking at Lukenya. Fantastic times. Fantastic times. So that was the second thing that happened. The third thing that happened is I went on a game drive for the very first time in my life with the Adventures. They were the ones to give me this notebook. Adventures somewhere down there. Took me on a game drive to Nairobi National Park, my very first game drive. Nairobi National Park. Unaona kwenye nimesimama kama ni hivyo ndio unachukua game drive. You know? Good times, good times. All right. Then the fourth thing that happened is I won a court case again. There was an appeal for review of judgment. I won again. Fantastic. And then number 5, I learned to ride a motorbike. Oh my goodness, so much has happened. I learned to ride a motorbike.
Leo hata siongei. Enda.
And even though I'm not the best motorbike rider out there or anything, I'm convinced that if I needed to go somewhere, and the only way to get there was through a motorbike, just a normal bike, a Bajaj or a Boxer or something, I'd ride that bike. Alright, and then I went to the movies for the first time. I went and saw Captain America Brave New World. And when the movie began, I was all by myself and I had the whole theater to myself. And I was a happy man. This is a beautiful this is a beautiful experience. This is so nice. Why didn't you guys tell me that life is so sweet in Nairobi? I've been suffering all by myself. It was so nice. That is number 6. Number 7, I went camping for the first time in my life in Naivasha at a place called, what is the name of that campsite? Fisherman's Camp. I feel like I'm a very successful man. This place is beautiful, my friends. This place is fantastic. Swam in Lake Naivasha also. Oh my goodness. Oh, fun times. Alright, let's not dwell so much. Number 8, I learned to drive. Vroom. It was long overdue. That is what I should say. It was long overdue. But towards the end of that, I went e-bike riding in Tigoni. Choo chuku 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 chiki chiki chuku chuku.
It's been 4 weeks since you called, and I've been waiting here for you all along. I've been waiting here for you all along. Where you been? Where did you go? I wonder if you found what you're looking for. Wonder if you found what you're looking for. I hope it's not too late. I want you back here with me. We never should have said it's better this way. I'd rather be with you than someone I don't know. Now it's like we're living in two separate worlds. Come on back to me, say that you won't go. I can't cope without you and I wanna hold you close. Say that you won't go.
With Ashkaf and his friends, and we went riding through the lush, hills of Tigoni, It was my first time riding an electric bike, and it is so smooth, so soft, up the hills, you don't exert any effort really. You can spend all your time and all your effort admiring the scenery. I like those electric bikes. I like them. Alright, and then I moved to a new house. That is number 10. I had to move to a new house, and I found an almost similar house, bigger. In fact, this is bigger than the one I was in. The rent is the same. So that was a very fantastic thing. And also, it was very lucky for me to find this house in one day. So I house hunted for one day, moved on the same day, which, if you've been in Nairobi, finding a house in Nairobi takes a lot of time. So definitely something to celebrate. I failed and then passed my driving tests, and so I have my driving license. I have a driving license. Number 12, I launched the Freedom Boy merchandise in tribute to my name Uhuru, which means freedom. We have t-shirts, we have hoodies for both genders, and you're able to buy those on my website if you're in Kenya. Mom retired after 31 years of teaching. Mom retired, and I was able to go and witness that, and she stepped into a new chapter, and so far so good. And then I drove the longest distance I've ever driven, 80 kilometers. That was last week's video. And it's something about last week's video, and this occurred to me much later. I was just sat in the house, and then it occurred to me as sort of a heavenly revelation that something had happened and I had not taken note of it. So this is what happened. When we were coming back from Konabaridi with Mr. John in his Toyota Premio 1500cc, we stopped at a fuel station. The significance is I bought fuel, specifically petrol, for the first time in my life. Oh my goodness. I didn't realize the significance of that, because, of course you walk by fuel stations all the time. If you don't have a car, you have no business buying, fuel. But I bought fuel, petrol, worth 1,000 shillings for the first time in my life on that day to fill up a car. Beautiful. Alright, 15, I was able to put together a new workstation, this table and this laptop. The laptop came first, but let's just start with the table. So there's a certain carpenter guy, a young man that I met some time back online, and we've been talking. Actually, I've been wanting to commission him to make for me, what do we call it? A bookshelf. So that has always been a goal of mine, because I think that we need to start, reading more books. With this whole new wave of AI that is coming in, we are starting to give up our agency in terms of our ability to think for ourselves. So I've been talking to this carpenter about making that bookshelf for me. But when the laptop came in and I put it on my old office table, you guys know my old office table, it ran out of space. So I realized I had to make a table first.
I might be going crazy, I don't know what to do. My heart is screaming for you, babe. And what I'm trying to say is that you make the sky look blue, even when it is gray, babe. Every time I'm feeling down, you can make it go away.
So that's the video of me taking delivery. This guy is called Peter, very talented guy. I asked him earlier to send me a few pictures of other products he's made, so that I can, promote him. He's not paid me for that. Actually paid for this. This table was 7,500 Kenyan shillings, and I paid for it. But because he's a young man like me and he's an ajituma, I thought I'd promote him. He's able to make coffee tables, bookshelves. He's a carpenter, all round. So if you need carpentry, get in touch with Peter, the carpenter.
Your light is shining bright on me. Got no reason to be afraid. You're glowing in the dark. You're glowing in the dark. Glowing in the dark. I feel it in my heart. You're glowing in the dark. Glowing in the dark. Yeah, you're glowing in the dark.
Right, so let's talk about the laptop. Which laptop is this? First of all, this is the Asus. Is it Asus or Asus? Asus Tough Gaming A15. And it's a beautiful laptop. It fits the purpose, of course, which is it is designed for intensive tasks, such as video editing, and such as, of course, also things like website design that I do. Sometimes they get very intensive and they require a lot of computer power. This will do those jobs very well. And how did I come by it? So this laptop is, I didn't buy it with my money. It is actually advance payment for video editing work. I thought that instead of being paid money with certain clients, if the client would purchase a video editing laptop and then I do the work, then that will be very good. So I can't get into the nitty-gritties, the details of the deal or with whom I did the deal, because we signed a non-disclosure. But that is how I came by the laptop. I didn't buy it. I thought it was a good deal because this is an expensive laptop, and it is advance payment for video editing work, and that just also shows the client's belief in my ability to do good video edit work. So we signed an agreement and everything, and we have both of us executed the agreement and both of us have a copy. That is how I was able to acquire the Asus Tough Gaming A15 video editing laptop. Now let me run you through a few specs. 16 gigs of RAM, I think it's 512 storage SSD, and then of course we have a graphics card, which is very important for video editing. I think it's NVIDIA 3050, and then it's AMD Ryzen 7 series. So all in all, a very powerful laptop. I just wanted to do an experiment on this video editing laptop with my old laptop as well. I want to try and export the same file on the same video editing software on both laptops. So we'll try to export that file on my other laptop, and we'll try to export that same file on this laptop. And we'll see how long it takes, just to show you the difference between these two. this computer, the new computer, is connected to this monitor. The old computer is not connected to any monitor, so that is how we will know. I have my stopwatch here that we are going to use to see the difference in performance. So right here on this computer, the 4K files are still creating proxy files. I won't get into all that, but sometimes I had to wait for a very long time for that to happen. Ah, my goodness. But these ones created proxy files immediately. Basically, it's breaking down the 4K files into a format that is easier to work on and edit. And we're going to see how long these files are going to take to render and export from both sides. So let's start with this older computer, render. That one started, render, and then let me start the stopwatch. Okay, so. It took the new computer basically how long? Love. So I've broken down that first one, how long it's taken to render. Basically it's taken 12 seconds for this one to render those 4K files. The old laptop is still rendering. The old laptop is still rendering, as you guys can see. I'm not sure if you're able to see. Stop. Right. So the old laptop took 39 seconds and the new one took 12 seconds. I don't know if you can see the lap right here. So once again, I'll start with this one. I'll hit export here, export, and then hit export here and start the stopwatch. All right. $98, $99, done. Let me take a screenshot of that as well. The old laptop took 1 minute 54 seconds. The new laptop, the Asus TUF Gaming A15, took 17 seconds. 17 seconds. Can you imagine? Oh my goodness. This is extraordinary. Let me tell you about how I purchased this new laptop. So I purchased it on Gigi from a business called Ringers, I think. And the way I purchased it was very interesting. And I actually promised the vendor that I'd give him a few referrals because he's an honest guy. So I saw the laptop. Of course, I've always known which video editing laptop I want. So I just went on to Gigi and searched for the name of the laptop, Asus TUF Gaming A15. And I was able to look through different vendors and I landed on this guy and I looked at the features and the specs and I told him that I wanted the laptop. It was very late in the evening. He said the business is closing, but he's able to send the laptop with a rider to me. And I was like, if you're sending the laptop with a rider to me, then tell the rider not to be in a hurry because I have to meet him in a restaurant somewhere and test the laptop thoroughly before I pay. And he was like, no problem, the rider will not be in a hurry. The rider was able to arrive. I think I have a picture somewhere and I have a video of me taking delivery of the laptop before payment. Just taking delivery. We met in a restaurant somewhere and I took the laptop and tested it thoroughly. Let me play those clips for you.
I've been feeling so small. Watch the clock ticking off the wall. But tonight I'm letting it go. Spend my coin for sure. I'm gonna be myself, or I could be someone else. No one's stopping me now. I'm gonna skip my breaks. I'm gonna make mistakes. I just wanna feel alive. It's just what I do when I'm out, so try not to hold me down. Feel alive when I'm in this town. Look at those beautiful stars. I wanna drive a faster car. Nothing can break me, no, nothing can break me. Try not to hold me down. Feel alive when I'm in this town.
comment of the week. So this week's freedom comment is by one Muiba Training, and this is what they had to say. Your work is truly outstanding, Dennis. Every place you visit is brought to life so beautifully. Your storytelling is captivating and your video editing is on another level. You are showcasing Kenya in such a powerful way through your lens. Keep up the great work. We are following from Tanzania. Fantastic, Muiba Training from Tanzania. Thank you for that beautiful comment. I think as I bring this video to a close, I need to end it with a story. I've not told you guys a story for a long time. I want to tell you guys the story of Sergeant Forrest. He's a character in my favorite author's book. My favorite author's name is Joe Abercrombie, and this particular book is called The Trouble with Peace, and it's part of a series of books. And so to understand the story of Sergeant Forrest, you have to read very many books. Sergeant Forrest was a career man, military man, and he began his career in the lowest dregs of the military, the lowest levels of rank in the military. He began his career and went through the motions of being a lower ranked military member, slogging through the campaigns. You know, when you're in the lower ranks of the military, in those days, mostly your work was digging latrines, you know, carrying luggage for officers, and you know, doing all manner of menial jobs. And in those days, when there was a campaign to be done, a military campaign, if the army was going to war, then the soldiers would march and just walk and cover long distances. And you know, the higher ranked military officers would be given horses and chariots and things like this. But the lower ranked members of the military had to walk. And all this time, when they were walking, most of the time they formed the back of the train. And what I mean when I say that is when the military was marching, it was sort of like a sea of humanity on the move. And there were people at the front and people at the back. And the people at the back really suffered because, you know, you do not want to be in the back of the train. And so, in the beginning, that was Sergeant Forrest's position in the military. And over time, he started rising in the ranks because he was a very good soldier. He started rising in the ranks and he was made sergeant. And whenever there was something to be done, anything to be done, Sergeant Forrest would say, the officers above me have the answers. You know, the way the military is structured is such that there's a hierarchy, right? From the very top of the military to the lowest guys. So whenever Sergeant Forrest was asked for his opinion on anything, he'd say, ask the guy who is above me. He has all the answers. So Sergeant Forrest was someone who was conditioned to follow orders all the time. Okay? And so, one time, Sergeant Forrest rose again in the ranks. He was given his commission. He still reverted to his old ways of thinking. He imagined that the generals had all the answers. So whenever they asked him, what do you think about this military campaign? Could you give us a military strategy on how we can, you know, get one of our enemies? You know, how we can win this military campaign? He'd say, ask the generals. They have all the answers. Alright, and so more time passed. Eventually, Sergeant Forrest was made a general. And when he was made a general, he still reverted to his old ways of thinking. Whenever he was asked, what do you think of this military campaign? Give us a military strategy. He'd say, ask the Lord Marshal. The Lord Marshal was the top, the overall commander of the army. And so Sergeant Forrest would say, ask the Lord Marshal. He has all the answers. One time there was a military campaign that Sergeant Forrest had to be part of, as a high-ranking officer, right? So he was in the front. They call it the vanguard of the military. It was the king and a few officers, a few retainers. Then just behind the king, the Lord Marshal and his retainers. And then behind the Lord Marshal, General Forrest and his retainers. Okay? And so they went on this military campaign. As the battle raged on, the Lord Marshal was killed. And so the king wanted to give a command to his military commander, and he looked around and he said, "Get me the Lord Marshal. I want to tell him to do something. I want to tell him to command the army to move in this and this way." And the king asked, "Who then do we have around here?" And he was told, "We have General Forrest." And the king looked at General Forrest and told him, "You are the Lord Marshal. Okay? So take charge of the military." And the king said, "I will defend from the left wing. So the left wing is mine. But you, Lord Marshal Forrest, the right wing is yours. So defend the right wing." And they parted ways. And Lord Marshal Forrest went to defend the right wing. And the king went to defend the left wing. All right. And so the battle progressed, and it wasn't going very well. And the enemy was amassing, and congregating. And it got to a point where Lord Marshal Forrest called a messenger. Those days in the military, if you wanted reinforcement, then you had to send a messenger on a horse to go and ask for reinforcement, so that this reinforcement can come and bulk up your forces. And so Lord Marshal Forrest called a messenger and told him, "Take this horse and ride as fast as the wind and go to the king and tell him that the right wing is almost being broken and run through. Tell him to send reinforcement." At the same time, the king was facing a lot of difficulty on the left wing. And the king called a messenger to him and said, "Take this horse and ride like the wind and go to Lord Marshal Forrest on the right wing and tell him that the king has said that the left wing is buckling. We are almost being run over by the enemy. Tell him that the king has said to send reinforcement." And these two messengers arrived almost at the same time. And the one from Lord Marshal Forrest told the king, "Your Highness have been sent by Lord Marshal Forrest. He is saying his wing is buckling, is almost being run through. He requests for reinforcement from Your Highness." And the messenger sent from the king to Lord Marshal Forrest also arrived at the same time and told Lord Marshal Forrest, "Lord Marshal, the king has sent me and told me to ride like the wind, and he said that his wing is buckling. He's almost being run through by the enemy. He's told me to instruct you to send reinforcement." Oh my goodness. And this is the part I love most about this story. Lord Marshal Forrest came to a realization. It came upon him like sort of a heavenly revelation. And he uttered some words that I live by up to today. These were the words of Lord Marshal Forrest. He said, "Years back when they made me a sergeant, I imagined the officers had all the answers. And when they gave me my commission, I imagined that the generals must have all the answers. And when they made me a general, I imagined that the Lord Marshal has all the answers. And when they made me a Lord Marshal, I imagined that the king has all the answers. Today, I have realized that no one has all the answers." I want you to come to that realization. Realize that no one has all the answers. Do not think that because someone looks so put together, that for that reason they must be very wise. Do not think that because someone is a member of parliament or a governor or even a president, that they have all the answers. Everyone at the most basic level is confused. Everyone is confused. And you have a right, as much as any other person, to be heard, to stand up for what you believe is right, to determine the direction you're going to go. Right. So that's today's video. Thank you for watching it up to this point. If you have, leave your thoughts in the comment section. If this is your first time to the channel, subscribe to the channel, and then I'll see you in the next video.